Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. We are so happy you are here with us today.
Hi, Anna. It is nice to sit here with you today.
Hi, Alex. Yes, it is really nice. I love quiet mornings like this.
Me too. It is a good time to talk about daily life.
Yes, daily life sounds simple, but it says a lot about a person.
So, Anna, what time do you usually wake up?
On work days, I usually wake up at 6:30. I do not always want to get out of bed, to be honest.
I understand that very well.
My alarm rings, and sometimes I open one eye and think, no, not yet.
That sounds very real.
But after a minute, I sit up, open the window, and take a deep breath. That helps me start the day.
I wake up a little earlier than you. I usually wake up at 6.
6? Really? That is early.
It is early, yes. I am not always happy about it, but I like slow mornings. I do not like to rush.
I understand. I do not like to rush either.
What is the first thing you do after you wake up?
First, I go to the bathroom and wash my face. Then I brush my teeth and look in the mirror like a very sleepy person.
I do the same. My hair always looks funny in the morning.
Mine too.
Do you make your bed?
Yes, I do. Not in a perfect way, but I make it. When the bed looks tidy, the room feels better.
I like that. It is a small thing, but it changes the mood.
Exactly. And after that, I get ready for the day. I choose my clothes, comb my hair, and put on a little makeup.
How long does that take?
Maybe 20 minutes. I like simple clothes, so I do not stand there for an hour.
That is good. I get dressed very fast. Shirt, jeans, socks, done.
That sounds easy.
It is easy, but sometimes I wear one blue sock and one black sock.
No.
Yes, then I see it later and feel a little silly.
That is actually funny.
So, let's talk about breakfast. Do you have breakfast every day?
Yes, almost every day. If I skip breakfast, I feel tired and a little angry.
Same here. Breakfast is important for me.
I usually have yogurt, fruit, and tea. Sometimes I have bread with butter and cheese.
That sounds nice. I usually have eggs or oatmeal. And coffee. Always coffee.
Ah, coffee. I drink tea more often, but sometimes I need coffee too.
Dear listeners, do you drink coffee in the morning or do you prefer tea?
Good question. Morning drinks are serious business.
They really are.
Do you make breakfast yourself?
Yes, I do. I live alone, so I make everything myself. Some mornings I enjoy it. I turn on music, make coffee, and cook eggs slowly.
That sounds peaceful.
It is. But other mornings, I just stand in the kitchen and wait for the coffee like it is the most important moment of my life.
That is also very real.
What about you?
I make breakfast too. I like quiet sounds in the kitchen. The cup on the table, the spoon in the tea, the window open a little. It feels soft and warm.
That is beautiful, Anna.
Thank you. I think mornings can be gentle.
I like that idea very much.
After breakfast, I check my phone. I know it is not the best habit, but I do it.
For messages?
Yes, messages, the weather, and sometimes the news. I do not stay there too long.
That is smart. I check my phone too, but I try to keep it short.
Morning is a soft time. I want to protect it a little.
I really understand that.
Then I pack my bag. I put in my keys, wallet, phone, and a notebook.
Why a notebook?
I like to write small things during the day. A thought, a shopping list, a new word, a little plan.
That is nice. I always carry headphones. Music helps me on the way to work.
How do you go to work?
I usually go by bus. Sometimes I walk to the bus stop and feel half asleep, especially in winter.
I know that feeling. Cold morning air, quiet streets, people with tired faces.
Yes, nobody talks much. Everyone just wants to arrive.
I usually go to work by train. It takes about 25 minutes. I sit by the window when I can.
Do you read on the train?
Sometimes, but often I just look outside.
And think?
Yes, I think about the day, about what I need to do, or about nothing at all.
Nothing at all sounds nice.
It is nice. A quiet train ride feels special.
My bus ride is shorter, about 15 minutes. I usually listen to music or a podcast.
What kind of music do you like in the morning?
Soft music, nothing too loud.
Good choice.
And when you arrive at work, what do you do first?
I say hello to everyone. I like that moment. It feels friendly and human.
I like that too.
Then I turn on my computer, put my bag down, and make another cup of tea.
Another one?
Yes, morning tea number 2.
I respect that.
I work better when I see my tasks clearly.
I do the same thing. Without a list, my brain goes in 10 directions.
Mine too. A list makes me calm.
My first hour at work is usually quiet. I answer emails, look at my schedule, and plan meetings. What about you? Are mornings your best work time?
Yes, I think so. In the morning, my mind feels clean. I can focus better.
I understand. I am also more active in the first half of the day.
Do you have lunch at the same time every day?
More or less. I usually have lunch at 1 o'clock.
Me too.
What do you usually have for lunch?
It depends. Sometimes I bring food from home, like rice, chicken, or pasta. Sometimes I buy a sandwich or soup near the office.
Do you prefer bringing food?
Yes, because it is cheaper and often healthier. But I do not always have time to cook in the evening.
That makes sense. I often bring lunch too.
Lunch breaks are important, though. I like to step away from my desk.
Me too. If I eat at my desk, I do not really rest.
Same. I like to sit near a window or go outside if the weather is nice.
A short walk after lunch helps me a lot.
Yes, even 10 minutes can change the day.
Dear listeners, do you take a real lunch break, or do you work and eat at the same time?
That is a good question.
And after lunch, how does your afternoon usually go?
The afternoon is busier. People ask more questions, phones ring more, and everything moves faster.
That sounds familiar.
I work, answer messages, join meetings, and try to stay organized. Sometimes I feel strong and focused. Sometimes I count the hours until I go home.
Very honest.
I think many people feel that way.
I do too. Some afternoons are full of energy, and some are just long.
Yes, on difficult days, I make tea again and tell myself, one step at a time.
That is a good line.
It helps.
What time do you usually finish work?
I usually finish at 5.
I usually finish at 5:30.
I love that moment when I close my computer.
Me too. It feels like I can breathe again.
Yes, work is important, but the day after work is important too.
Absolutely. So, what do you do after work?
It depends on the day. Sometimes I go straight home. Sometimes I stop at the supermarket.
After work shopping can be hard.
It can. I stand there and forget everything I need.
Do you make a list?
I try, but not always.
A list saves dinner.
That is true.
I usually go home after work, but once or twice a week I go to the gym.
In the evening?
Yes, around 6. I do not always feel excited, but I feel good after.
That is the important part.
Exactly. Do you exercise?
I do, but not every day. I usually walk a lot, and sometimes I do yoga at home.
Evening yoga?
Yes, it helps me relax. My body feels lighter after a long day.
That sounds lovely.
When I get home, I usually change into comfortable clothes right away.
Same. Real home life starts with soft clothes.
Exactly. Then I wash my hands, put my bag down, and breathe for a second. Home has a different feeling.
It does. It feels safe.
Yes, safe is the right word.
Do you cook dinner every evening?
Almost every evening. I like simple dinners. Soup, pasta, salad, rice with vegetables, maybe fish or chicken.
Sounds healthy.
I try, but sometimes I am tired and just make toast and tea.
That is still a dinner.
Yes, a small but honest dinner.
I cook too, but I repeat meals a lot. Pasta is my good friend.
Pasta is everybody's good friend.
True, it is warm, easy, and kind.
Kind?
Yes, it asks very little from you.
I love that idea.
Do you eat dinner alone or with someone?
Usually alone on weekdays, but I call my sister sometimes, or I send voice messages to friends while I cook.
That is nice. It makes the evening feel less empty.
Yes. And you?
I usually eat alone too. Sometimes I watch something, but I try not to do that every day.
Why not?
Because then I do not taste the food or notice the moment. I just disappear into a screen.
That is true.
After dinner, I clean the kitchen. Well, sometimes.
Only sometimes?
Yes, sometimes I say, I will do it later, and later becomes tomorrow morning.
Oh no.
Then I meet tired morning Alex, and he is not happy.
Poor morning, Alex.
He suffers because of evening Alex.
This is a real problem in many homes.
I believe so.
After the kitchen, I usually take a shower. Warm water helps me leave the day behind.
I like evening showers too. They are relaxing.
Then I sit on the sofa with a book, or I watch one episode of a series.
Just one episode?
Usually.
You are stronger than many people.
Not always. Sometimes one episode becomes two.
That is still normal.
Yes. And sometimes I call my mother. We do not talk for a long time every day, but we check in.
That is sweet. What time do you usually go to bed?
I usually go to bed at 10:30 or 11.
That is close to me. I usually go to bed around 11.
Do you sleep well?
Most of the time, yes. But I sleep better when I do not use my phone too late.
Same. Phones are not good for sleep.
No, they are not. So before bed, I try to do quiet things. I wash my face, brush my teeth, and turn off the big light.
That sounds peaceful. It is my little evening ritual.
I like rituals. Before bed, I also brush my teeth, set my alarm, and put a glass of water next to the bed.
Smart. I do that too.
Then I usually read for 10 or 15 minutes. It helps my mind slow down.
A familiar book before sleep feels very comforting.
Yes, it does.
Then, when I finally lie down, I often think about the day. Just small thoughts.
Like what?
Things like, the tea was nice today, or I need to buy tomatoes tomorrow.
That sounds very human.
Daily life is full of tiny thoughts.
It is. And sometimes those tiny thoughts are important because they show what kind of life we live.
Yes, people often wait for big moments, but life is also in the small moments.
I really believe that.
Me too.
Let's talk a little about weekends. Is your routine very different on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, it is different. I still wake up early, but not as early. Maybe around 8.
Same here. My body wakes up early even when I want to sleep longer.
But weekend mornings feel softer. There is no rush, no train, no office clothes.
That is such a good feeling.
I make a longer breakfast on weekends. Maybe eggs, toast, fruit, and coffee. Sometimes pancakes.
Pancakes? That sounds great.
Only sometimes. I also clean the apartment, do laundry, water my plants, and open all the windows.
Weekend cleaning can feel good.
Yes, it makes the home feel fresh.
On weekends, I also clean, shop, and do small things I do not do on weekdays.
Do you meet friends on weekends?
Yes, often. I meet friends for coffee, lunch, or a walk. I need that. It gives me energy.
Me too. I love quiet time, but I also need people I care about.
That balance is important.
Very important. Sometimes I visit my family, and sometimes I stay home and rest. I listen to music, read, or just sit in silence.
Silence is underrated.
Very underrated.
Dear listeners, what is one thing you always do on the weekend?
I like that question. Everyone has one small weekend tradition.
You know, daily routine can sound boring at first.
Yes, people think routine means the same thing again and again. But routine also gives shape to life. It helps us feel stable.
I agree. When I have a good routine, I feel calmer. I eat better, sleep better, and think more clearly.
Same here. Of course, not every day is perfect.
Definitely not.
Sometimes I wake up late. Sometimes I miss breakfast. Sometimes I forget my lunch at home.
Oh, that is painful.
It is. And sometimes I come home tired and do nothing useful all evening.
That is normal too.
Yes. I try not to judge myself too much. We are people, not machines.
That is an important sentence.
Thank you. Routines help us, but they do not need to be perfect.
Exactly. A good routine is not a prison, it is support.
Beautifully said.
And daily routine also changes in different parts of life. A student has one routine, a parent has another.
Yes, the best routine is the one that fits your real life.
Not the perfect life on a screen.
Exactly. Real life. Real mornings. Real tired faces. Real tea. Real buses.
Real pasta.
Of course. Real pasta, too.
So, if you describe your daily routine in a few simple lines, how do you say it?
I wake up at 6:30, get ready, have breakfast, and go to work by train. I work all day, have lunch around 1, and go home at 5. In the evening, I cook dinner, relax, and go to bed around 11.
Clear and simple. Very nice.
And you?
I wake up at 6, make breakfast, and go to work by bus. I start work in the morning, have lunch at 1, finish at 5:30, and go home or to the gym. In the evening, I cook, read a little, and go to bed at 11.
That sounds balanced.
I try.
I think that is enough. I try is a good way to live daily life.
Today we talk about wake-up times, breakfast, work, lunch, dinner, and sleep. Simple things, but very real things.
Yes, everyone has a day. Everyone has habits. Everyone knows the feeling of a tired morning or a quiet evening.
That is true. Daily routine connects us.
It does.
Anna, thank you for sharing your day with me.
Thank you, Alex. It is lovely to talk about ordinary life in a warm way.
I agree. Ordinary life deserves attention too.
Very much.
Well, dear listeners, we hope this conversation feels familiar and maybe a little comforting.
Yes. Maybe you hear your own routine in our words.
Wake up, get ready, have breakfast, go to work or school, come home, eat dinner, rest, and sleep.
Simple words, simple grammar, real life.
And that is enough.
Yes, more than enough.
Before we finish, we want to hear from you, too. What is your daily routine?
Yes, tell us a little about your day. When do you wake up? And what do you usually do after that?
See you next time, Anna.
See you next time, Alex.
Take care.
Take care.